repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and to bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of those officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
Hey, happy Veterans Day, and a big thank you goes out to each and every one of you veterans from us here at BCB Live. So grateful for the sacrifice that you, your family, your son, your daughter, your friends have made. Drive Safe Dave, my dad, a 25-year vet. Many of our guests on the show also vets as well. I know it goes the same with you. It hits home. Boy, it just hits home. You watch some of these videos and when the parents are reunited with their children, especially, how that doesn't bring a tear to everyone's eye. I wouldn't understand that part, but it's absolutely amazing. We're so thankful for your sacrifice.
Yeah, genuinely encouraged by the message on the video and truly happy, and want to say a genuine thank you to anyone that's taken the oath, anyone that has served in any capacity, man or woman, and whatever it is, that, or no matter how it is you have served. Thank you so much for what you have done and the continued support that outgoes to all of our service members, no matter when, where, and why.
If you're out there right now, you're one of the BCB Live listeners, and you have that opportunity to raise your hand. Listen, we want we want to be able to see who you are. We want to say thank you. We want others to know who you are as well. If you can, just kind of raise your hand and Drive Safe Dave. We say thank you to them for certain, right, for all that you've done. The National Federation of Independent Businesses, the National Retail Federation, pretty large group of folks right there. The International Warehouse and Logistics Association, the National Association for Convenience Stores. It goes on and on.
Yeah, everybody wants in on the action because of the imposed problems that this is going to create in nationwide. I mean, here we are. Look, we want vaccinations. We need vaccinations. We want to get them done. However, damaging the infrastructure of the United States by doing so is not the answer, right? I mean, just
yeah. So you have all these groups, along with the ATA, that have filed a suit in federal court opposing the proposed COVID-19 vaccination and testing rule, and it just keeps going, Dave. They're after they're seeking a stay in it, right? And that's what they're doing. Along so is also the TSA, the group that represents the TSA, over 700,000 people saying the same thing. I was confused with what the TSA group was saying. They're saying, hey, they want it pushed till 2022. And I thought it already was 2020. It's January 2022. You know, Saturday when President Biden announced that we've come together on an infrastructure bill, he asked a question to the reporters. And then can we play that, producer? Here we go.
By the way, you all write for a living. I haven't seen any one of you explain supply chain very well. No, I'm not being critical. I'm being deadly earnest. When your editor says, explain the supply chain, okay?
You know,
okay, we could take outtakes all day of every president. You know, we could do that all day.
All right, you know what? 2019. I'm going back before COVID. In 2018. Let's go back another year. 2018. The e-logs happened, right? The rates went crazy. Everything went high, but more for fear. And in 2019. You know, the economy, we believe that the freight went back down. Numbers just show that it went back down. It went back down to normal is what they say, is what numbers show. But what happened on that, although freight moved normal, inventory did not move in 2019. Inventory didn't move. Freight may have moved, right? Volume may have stayed steady, but it wasn't inventory moving. It was just like building up warehousing. Nothing was getting sold. And we knew that because the price of freight didn't go back up. It went down and kept going lower and lower and lower because if you're not moving inventory, Dave, there's no reason to move it, right? You're going to wait for the best price.
Yeah, and so you just hold it. And
you just hold it.
Yeah, just hold it now. Give me a deal to move what I have, and if you can, I get it, but I'll wait for the lowest bidder.
As opposed to today. And I say this, and I'm not bringing up any conspiracy theory, all right? But I will say this. Thank God that we had inventory built up for when COVID hit.
Oh.
Drive safe, Dave. I'm not sure if you saw it, but up there in Portland, Maine, we caught a 1 in 100 million lobster called the cotton candy lobster.
Yeah, look at that. It is a rarity among. So the lobster catcher, he posted it up. Did we find out where he was going to take it or to what?
He's still looking for a place right now. He's not selling it.
I got a place.
Take it to a place. Let me tell you something. Drive safe, Dave. I'm going to go with you on this right here. Never in my life have I dipped cotton candy in butter. I've never tried that. But if that cotton candy lobster, let me tell you something. You get a little bit of garlic butter with that.
He's gone.
It would taste delicious. I'm a big fan, I believe, of the cotton candy lobster. Probably some of the biggest news comes out of Cobb County in Georgia, in which Elf on the Shelf is banned.
Yeah, the judge has found that it is detrimental to the social well-being of children because of the imposed stress that Elf on the Shelf will give to children.
The judge says right here, he made the order on Thursday as his gift to tired parents. It banned Elf on a Shelf from appearing this holiday season in that area, and the risk to the emotional health and well-being of children is one of the reasons why, right? When these elves do not move, it leaves our children of tender years in states of extreme emotional distress.
I'm okay.
Fake news.
I'm glad this is a big story.
Fake. If it's just sitting there, and here it goes. He recalls, the judge does, a time back in his day.
Right.
When here it goes. He goes, I recall an emotional period in my life when 3 children were sent to school in tears, with one child being labeled an elf murderer. And it was accused of making the elf lose his magic.
You know, this first one, if we watch that vehicle ahead of us, there's sparks flying out from underneath. And so the driver just did a great job of backing off, not knowing for sure what's causing those sparks. And if you have the opportunity, we talk about communication, communicate with that other driver, let them know what's going on, that you got sparks so they can pull over and get it checked out. The big picture here is we got a lane merge, and our lane's running out. We're merging onto it. We got a narrow road. And so we have to have a big picture and see what's going on and being aware of what's going on ahead of us when we see those brake lights, the brake check ahead of us. And so we have to be ready to start slowing down sooner because the big picture tells us that traffic is slowing down, coming to a stop in this one.
Drive safe. I mean, we see a lot of lights going on there, right? And a lot of brakes are on. We've got to stop. We have to slow down. We just want to make sure we see these. And I know we have a lot of action going on. We're merging. We're coming onto this road here, and all of a sudden, maybe you're looking in your left mirror. Maybe you're making sure to see, is it clear for you to come over, and you just don't see what's going on ahead of you. We have the hazards on. We have lights on. It's nighttime, and I get this too, Drive Safe. It is so daggum difficult, even at nighttime, to judge some of that distance. But when you're in these areas, you have to slow down.
Yeah, I think even when the driver first enters into the roadway, the hazards are on in the distance. There's blinking lights going on. It is a good indication that something's wrong up ahead. And as you get closer, it even becomes more prevalent on the stopped vehicles. And there are going to be times when you have to hard brake in when you come to a stop. And your hazard should be on immediately when you're stopped on a freeway like this. Make sure you're indicating the dangers as well, because you now have been caught unawares, and now you want to make sure everybody behind you also knows this. And I would like to see our flashers working at this moment, in this time, and in this space to let everybody know what's going on.
We see the big picture here, the merge points, and the driver does just an excellent job of staying back, creating space. We're going to get there. We just have to be patient. We have to be courteous and create that space. And so somebody's going to come over because surely somebody's going to try jumping out in front of us. So the driver just does a great job of staying back, owning that space in front of him in this video.
Yeah, I can see the tanker already crossing the two solid white lines in the merge point. I think that's a great indication of why this video was taped, because that's not what you want to do. You want to make sure you get to the merge point and then come over.
Yep.
But if you look at the video before this and this one here, just a lot of chaos. And it's always best, Drive Safe Dave or Dale, when you're in chaos, to slow down, to give yourself a chance to react. And I think the last video kind of would do the same thing. A lot of lights, you're in a construction area, you're merging on, it's chaotic. Slow down, give yourself a chance to react.
This one here, when I watched it the first time, really didn't see what's going on. We see this truck in front of us slowing down and taking it. So it goes really big picture, watching what's going on ahead of us, because that's a escort vehicle, and there's a wide load coming up underneath under this bridge. And so, I would like to see the four-way flashers on to communicate to others that we're coming to a stop, that something else was going on in front of us that we really don't have control over. And so just it's a learning video here of getting that great big picture and being able to see far ahead. If that was a van truck and we were following it too close, we would have no idea, what's coming up underneath that bridge, that a wide load's coming at us, why we're stopped.
Great speed turning into the curve. I mean, we're doing everything right. I would like to see a little bit better distance between the vehicle in front of you and the one. I like to see concrete between the two vehicles when you come to a stop at all times. That way you make sure you give plenty of cushion no matter what happens.
This one here, you just got to watch this one for just a little bit. And I think I'm going to say, no, don't do it. Don't do it. That's a pass on the shoulder. That's a solid white line. There's white lines there that say, don't do it. And this is where, as drivers, as professionals, we just have to be patient and be courteous. And when we drive like this and go out and pass on a shoulder, a bunch of cars like this, it's just not the safest thing to do. It's not the safe thing to do, and it's not legal. So drivers, just be patient. We're going to get there.
Right here, and you can see on that video, there were multiple white lines placed in a vertical or horizontal position to the road of traffic. It absolutely was telling you, do not do that.
Okay, every day I throw one in there that's, intersections are dangerous, and this is today's version of intersections are dangerous. We're coming up to this traffic light, the driver in this one slowing down, going to get stopped for the stoplight, and the other vehicle comes from a turn lane and cuts right in front of us. I mean, the only good thing I can say about it is the four-wheeler that cut us off at least used the turn signal and gave us some communication that he was going to do it. Well, I mean, you know what? It's better to know that it's coming at you than not. And so, I mean, it's still a bonehead move. There's no doubt about it. I mean, coming from a turn lane and cutting in front of somebody, but, at least you communicate a little bit that's going on. I mean, communication in traffic is always the key.
Four-wheeler basically didn't turn left in a turn-only lane. Also changed lanes in an intersection. I mean, there were multiple problems with what's going on here. As long as you waved and said thanks, we're good.
Communication. We talk about communication a lot. So,
Gary.
Yep. And this one, like I said, just a nice job of keeping your speed in space and slowing down for it. We're in lots of heavy traffic. Mm-hmm. Traffic's coming to a stop, and so I just really, like showing this one. And then when I look in the adjoining lane, look at the nice space that the other drivers got there too. So maybe word's getting out that we have to keep our space out there. We have to manage our speed. So just a great video to end up with this morning. We're talking about hours of service. We're talking a lot about split sleeper berth. And, so it's about knowing the minimums, knowing what parts of it comprise the split sleeper berth. And so, there's three basic parts of it. The short break, which has to be a minimum of 2 hours. The long break, which has to be a minimum of 7 hours. And together, they have to equal 10 hours. And so you just have to make sure if you take that short break, which can be off-duty or sleeper berth or a combination of two, and your long break, which has to be all sleeper berth, uninterrupted, those two together have to equal 10. And so we say 2 and 7. So if you have the 2-hour short break and a 7-hour long break, does not work for the split sleeper berth. It has to come into 10 hours. And so, that's really the basic math of it. And so that's what we got there.